So I've been very upset with Trump once again. He has betrayed the MAHA movement, which is a Make America Healthy Again movement that RFK Jr. started after he endorsed Trump in 2024 and became the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And he's been betrayed. He won't admit it, but he has been. And he isn't doing anything to question Trump about it, which really makes me angry. We have Bayer, the big chemical ag giant that sells a bunch of chemicals, GMOs, to seeds to the farmers so they can spray it on the crops and poison our food supply. And Bayer has been wanting to face immunity from being accountable for giving cancer to people. They want to have protection from lawsuits for poisoning people with pesticides that contain glyphosate, like Roundup. And Trump made an executive order a couple months ago under the Defense Production Act to ramp up production of these pesticides in the U.S., which is terrible. And he did it in the name of food security. The government says there's no direct alternative to glyphosate. That farmers need it to raise food for us. We need it for food security. That's a flat out lie. We don't need glyphosate. We have only been using it for the last 50 some years. We've only been using these pesticides for the last 50 to 100 years. Before then, we did just fine with mechanical cultivation for weed control and all the old methods before modern agriculture took over to come poison us. And there's plenty of solutions to this. Why don't we do crop rotation? Why don't farmers do forest farming, rotational grazing in their forests? Why don't farmers do cover crops more or do pasture-based farming with livestock? Or maybe they should start growing native perennials as food for certain food crops instead of just wasting all their farmland away on corn and soybeans. We have so much farmland in the U.S. that goes to growing genetically modified corn and soybeans that's sprayed with poison, and there's very little food value in it. It's not food security. It's corn goes and soybeans just gets used for livestock feed, ethanol, high fructose corn syrup, which is very terrible for you, and it's in all these processed foods, and maybe soy milk from soybeans. That's the only value you get out of corn and soybeans. So very little food value. It's terrible. And that's what we waste our farmland on with all these pesticides that are used to grow it. So it's not food security at all. It's just a scam to allow the big ag chemical companies and the big mega farms that are rich to continue to maximize profits at our expense while it makes us sicker, gives us a bunch of chronic disease, and then cripples the rural economies. That's all it's about. And when RFK Jr. endorsed this white supremacist dictator in 2024, as much as I hate Trump, I hate him more than anything, I felt that having RFK in his administration would be the one and only positive aspect of the Nazi regime. But I knew right off the bat that Trump and RFK Jr. are opposites and have been all along. So I knew this wasn't going to work out. He wasn't going to allow Kennedy to truly make America healthy again and get rid of pesticides. I mean, the whole goal of this movement was to reduce the use of pesticides and transition to more regenerative agriculture, but I knew Trump wasn't going to allow that because they're opposites. RFK Jr. was an environmental lawyer. He sued corporate polluters. He sued Bayer. He won billions of dollars in lawsuits against him for Roundup causing cancer when this first started. And Trump, he's the opposite. He loves corporate polluters. He gives them a bunch of handouts and bailouts. And he loves the corporate polluters. He stands for corporate corruption. They're opposites. I knew this was never going to work. I knew this whole thing was just a scam all along for Trump to use Kennedy as a pawn, as a way to trick libertarians and Democrats who want to fix our food system and get rid of all these toxins in our food to get people to vote for Trump. And I knew it was a scam all along and it wasn't going to work. It's just frustrating. And it's very frustrating that RFK is still defending Trump for these actions and orders he's making to promote pesticides. It just makes me angry. And then you got the EPA. They call themselves the Environmental Protection Agency, which is not what they do, but they lie saying that glyphosate doesn't harm humans or cause cancer, which is a big flat out lie. Don't be dumb enough to believe that crap and buy into that. I mean, first off, if you call them the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, shame on you. That's not what they do. They really should be called the Corporation Protection Agency, the CPA, because they don't protect our environment, the human health, and the natural wonders in this country and the outdoors. They protect corporate polluters so they can continue to profit off of us, even though it destroys our health and destroys our environment. That's what they do. They just promote pesticides, promote corporate polluters, and sugarcoat what they do. And they're all in cahoots with these big corporations. And yeah, so they're the Corporation Protection Agency. That's what they are, the CPA. And so they're very corrupt, just like the rest of our communist government. It's just they all worship corporate polluters. And luckily, Bayer, as of right now, they're still not immune from lawsuits. They're still getting a bunch of lawsuits filed against them due to people who have been exposed to their products who have gotten cancer. So they're still getting a lot of cancer lawsuits at them, and they're escalating. I mean, in the last decade, it's now upwards of $10 billion they've had total in lawsuits, and they don't want to be held accountable anymore. They've been poisoning people for decades, but they don't want to be held accountable. They want to still be able to mess people up and maximize profits. And they've been lobbying our government to get immunity from these lawsuits. Luckily, there's been Supreme Court hearings going on, and as of right now, in these Farm Bill provision, they still don't have protection from lawsuits. But, that could change. We'll just see what happens. I don't want them to get protections at all. They deserve to be held accountable, and they're not being held accountable enough for all the crap they've gotten away with. And we just got to keep fighting until they stop doing this. And there was a People for Poison group rally last week in Washington in front of the Supreme Court who were holding a big protest against this. And I'm glad they were. I mean, we need people to fight. Not enough people are aware of what's going on. And we got to keep fighting until our food system is cleaned up. And that's going to take a long time. Our government is so corrupt. They're in cahoots with these corporate polluters and big ag companies, and they're worried about allowing them to maximize profits, even though it destroys our human health and the health of your kids and the future generations. It's not just old people that are getting cancer and diabetes and all these diseases. It's kids that are getting it too, young children. So we got to fight for human health and cleaning up our food system if we truly want to make America healthy again. We got to fight the Trump administration. We just got to keep protesting, and we can't be silent. Too many of us have been way too silent about these issues, and we got to make more people aware. And this People versus Poison rally last week, that was a message they were getting across, is that we can't be silent. The more people that speak out against this, the better. And we can continue to buy organic and natural food, or even better yet, grow as much as our own vegetables and food that we can ourselves. Plant gardens, grow it ourselves, because then we know it's safe for if we grow it and it's not being contaminated with all these pesticides. And then we just got to keep spreading awareness. We need to talk about it, and we can't be silent. The longer we're silent, the further this country is going to burn to the ground, more than it already has in the last year. This is just chaos, and we need to spread awareness. My challenge for you and me, I think, should be for all of us who are very angry about this whole food system. Over the next couple weeks, we need to do whatever we can to spread awareness. Not just talk about it with friends and family, but we need to talk about it in public with just random people, even at the grocery store. We need to just spread the awareness of what's going on. A lot of people eat natural and organic food and want a better food system. And if they find out about this evil corruption in Bayer, Monsanto, and what they're doing right now, trying to lobby the government to be shielded from lawsuits, they're going to be furious. We got to spread awareness, and we just got to keep fighting and protesting. Post it on social media. Do whatever it takes to spread awareness. We got to fight for this. This is our fight to make America healthy again, and it's going to get worse if we stay silent any longer. So we can't stay silent. We can't afford this. We owe it to the future generations to stand up. We have to fight, fight, fight